Hello, everyone. My name is Shashank. I come here with a broken hand and a lot of enthusiasm to talk about cost per click. Now, cost per click is a terminology that has been used for a really long time, ever since digital marketing came into our lives. Google being the pioneer in Google AdWords. Now, today we see a lot of companies, Google, Facebook, or Meta, as we may call it, Twitter, Snapchat, all of these companies, they earn money by selling ad spaces, and these ad spaces are embedded on the platforms that we use. So for instance, when we are scrolling Instagram, we'll see an ad and then we'll click on it. So each time a user clicks on this, the company that has advertised themselves, they pay a certain amount of money. So each click costs something, and this very aspect of measuring the cost of each click is called cost per click. In this particular video, I'm going to be taking some examples of cost per click. We'll discuss about the factors that affect cost per click as CPC. And then we'll try to understand if CPC is the only thing that marketers and business owners should measure, or should there be different perspectives with which you look at your marketing and advertising campaigns. So let's get started. So as you can see on the screen, it says cost per click explained with examples by Trippy Entrepreneur. That's me. Well, let's jump to the next slide. Now I've picked up the first definition from the internet. It says cost per click is an online advertising revenue model that companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc. use to bill advertisers based on the number of times visitors click a display ad attached to their site. Now, the basic, very simple formula of calculating CPC, that is cost per click, is ad cost by the number of clicks. All right. So let's take an example to calculate it. If you spent rupees 10,000 to get 10 link clicks, in this case, your cost per click is 100 rupees. Similarly, suppose you're spending 5 lakh rupees to get 100 clicks. Think what should be my CPC in this case? It would be 5 lakhs divided by 100, which leaves us with 5,000 rupees. So this is basically in its simplest form what cost per click is. But this particular term of measurement allows business owners and advertisers and marketers to get a lot of idea about what's going on with their marketing campaigns. So in the next few minutes, we're going to discuss that. But before that, can we have some examples so that you can understand what these ads look like? So here, let's take a Google search ad. If I zoom in, I've searched for web development class, and now you'll see two things. One, you see sponsored coding ninjas, and here you don't see any sponsored, meaning this is organic. So if a user, that is you, clicks on this particular link, in that case, coding ninjas will pay some amount of money to Google. But in this case, if you click on it, then the cost per click here would be zero, because this result is coming up organically. So organically means you're not spending money on ads for your company or your web page to be displayed. So in this particular case, we can see a cost per click action happening with coding ninjas. Now the cost per click may be $1, it could be $2, or it can be as high as $20. What factors does CPC depend on? We'll get into that. But right now, Google search ad is one example through which we can understand a CPC ad. Now let's look into Quora. So Quora, we see AstroTalk has written an answer which has 11,000 upvotes, 357 shares. But if the reader clicks on more, in this case, AstroTalk would be paying Quora some amount of money. Why would AstroTalk pay money to Quora? Because Quora takes this ad of AstroTalk and distributes it to a much wider range of audience. Towards our right, we'll see two more ads. These ads are run by Adobe. I wonder why they're going to be running Acrobat ads. I mean, I have always used Adobe Acrobat for free, but nevertheless, this is ad number 2, this is ad number 3, this is ad number 1. So all the companies or all the businesses who have like a lot of traffic coming on their portals What they do is they sell real estate, meaning virtual real estate, meaning ad spaces, and people like Stone Santa or any other company that wants to earn customers or do whatever they wish, they spend money. So I have taken example of Instagram advertising itself on the Meta platform. So here we can see Instagram, they want you to download Instagram, and this ad is written in Hindi, which is an indication that Instagram may have been targeting the Hindi speaking audience with these ads. So every time somebody clicks on this, Instagram pays itself. How ridiculous and how beautiful. The world of online advertising is really interesting. Nevertheless, let's take another example. CPC ad on Twitter. Again, this is Mr. Check. Check is a competitor of Cred, and the beautiful part is Check is using Twitter to advertise itself. Now, each time I click on this, I am going to be charged some money. Although the app here says download, but doesn't matter. As soon as I click on this button, I am going to be charged, or Check is going to be charged by Twitter. As a common functionality, what do we see here? Somebody is willing to sell something to someone, and in that process, these portals, Quora, Facebook, ShareChat, Snapchat, all of these guys make money by selling ad spaces. And the way they do that is cost per click. It's easy to measure for both the parties, the business owner and the business selling the ad space. Now, the question would be, what factors do CPC, or what factors does CPC depend on? So again, these may not be the only factors. There can be more factors, but what I've done is I've tried writing down a few that I could understand from my experiences, and of course from the research that I did on the internet. Now, ad platforms. So here I've picked up an image from WordStream. So here we see that on Google search, the average spent may be $2.39. On a Google display, it is $0.41. For Facebook, it may be $0.97, and for Instagram, it is $1.23. So I'm assuming here that they have taken the average from all industries, but we can notice the difference in the platform and the platforms leading to a different cost per click. I will not dive deep into it, but just to give you an understanding of why the cost per click is different, let's take an example. On Google search, if you search for something, so for example, if you search for barber near me, lawyer near me, and enter, and then you see an ad, the chances of you clicking on that is much, much higher because you already have an intent towards that product, service, or offering, right? But in the case of a display ad, so you're browsing through a website and suddenly you see this ad of divorce lawyers near me. In such case, the chances of you clicking on that ad is comparatively much lesser, and therefore, due to this difference in intent, the costing of the display ad is much lesser than the search ad. Similarly, if we jump from Google and suppose we take ShareChat as an example. Now, ShareChat is an Indian company which has users majorly from the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So, in this case, we can safely assume that the advertising cost on ShareChat, or the cost per click on ShareChat for the same product, same industry, same targeting would be comparatively less than what I experience as a business on Google. So, different ad platforms, different ad costs, different ad types, different ad costs. So, that's one. Second is ad quality score. So, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, what we have is every ad has a score. So, in the world of online bidding of advertisements, it is not that if Amazon comes and says that, hey, bro, we'll give you $2 per click. And if I take my company, Stone Santa, and I'm like, nay, bro, I'll pay you just $1.5 per click. In this case, Google or any other advertiser will not just show the ad to Amazon just because they are paying higher. Every ad that is run on the internet, they get a relevance score or a quality score. Now, that is a combination of various metrics. We'll not get into it. CTR, ad relevance, landing page relevance, user experience, a combination of all this leads to the quality score. And if you optimize your ad, meaning if your ad quality score is 7 and plus, in that case, you may see that the CPC would be lesser. But if your ad is not optimized, Either your landing page is very slow, or when people click on your ad, the web page takes very slow, or the image is not nice, whatever be the reason. If the ad score is not good, in such cases, you will end up spending a lot more than you had imagined. So, ad optimization and ad scores play a big role in the CPC. A lot of times, what marketers do is they may start off with a CPC of, say, $2, but after optimizing their ad, they may bring it down to as much as $1. So, this process of optimizing the ad either by changing keywords or making changes here and there is called ad optimization, and that can lead to a better CPC for you. What else? Industry. Now, industry is, I think, very important. If I'm selling a t-shirt versus I'm trying to sell insurance, in both these cases, the selling price and a lot of other business economics are very different, due to which different industries have different CPCs. I've picked up one image that I could find on the internet. It's a 2020 data, but you will get the idea. Insurance average CPC is $18.57. Guys, please note, I think this is for the USA. This does not entail the Indian subcontinent. So let's just have that in mind. Online education next, $14. Electronics is the least, which is $0.83. Although I don't think this is the electronics which deals with mobile phones or laptops. This could be other electronic items. So if you go online, you will find a lot of these stats, and the CPC, the cost per click, is dependent heavily on the industry. So for instance, if you're trying to sell real estate, one property may go for 1 crore and above. And if you try comparing that with somebody who's trying to sell a t-shirt at 1,000 rupees, the real estate guy, they may be able to afford a CPC of as much as 1,000 rupees per click, but the t-shirt owner cannot afford a CPC of, say, more than 100. So, I mean, 100 would be also a lot for a t-shirt guy, because the selling price is just 1,000 rupees. And if you're spending 100 rupees on a click, the cost of acquisition would be just too much, too off chart. So, industries also affect the cost per click significantly. Now, let's take the audience targeted. To make it very simple, what I've done is I've taken the different countries, the spending capacity and the earning capacity of USA is much, much higher than that of India. And if you notice, the same company advertising in USA will spend a lot more than what they spend here in India. You don't have data about China because, again, China does not allow it. And this data is taken from a word stream. So basically, if we understand, if we change the audience, then the cost per click that we may have may change significantly. Let's take another example. Suppose there is a company who wants to target people who are ultra rich and sell them products like Mercedes. These are people with high net worth. So a lot of premium brands would be wanting to target these people, right? So in that case, the CPC may be higher as compared to a person who supposedly lives in tier 3 city and their annual income is less than 1 lakh rupees. So the kind of ads they will get, or the kind of money the businesses will spend on this category, perhaps will be lesser than what they spend on this category. So the audience targeted, if you change that, the amount of money that you spend will also change significantly. Competition. So guys, you remember I told you insurance is expensive. So here is a snapshot from Google Keyword Planner. And what we see here is buying term insurance. It says that the estimated top bid may be 682.95 and the low bid would be 280 rupees. Now, as a business, I can bid anywhere between 280 to 682, or I can bid even 110 rupees. But the point here is there are people in the same industry who may be willing to spend more. So if 9 out of 10 advertisers are willing to spend more money, then the one advertiser who is left, they will have no other option to than to increase the bid. So if the competition increases, the CPC also increases. We have ad format. I think we talked about it just a little. The video ads will be much more expensive than search ads, and the search ads may be expensive than Gmail ads. So if you're watching a video where it is mandatory, you can't skip That means the user or the audience is made to watch that video. They don't really have an option to quit, right? So in such cases, these advertisers will charge businesses like myself a premium. Search ads are comparatively lesser, and Gmail ads or other display ads, they will have a lesser CPC. Why? Because the intent is less, right? So that's there. Seasonality, again, I picked up a one random graph from the internet, but basically, if you notice here, the CPC, there is a rise in the CPC during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Similarly, if we talk about India, during Diwali, almost everyone wants to sell something or the other to the Indian consumer. Somebody wants to sell gold, somebody wants to sell a new car, somebody wants to sell a flat, somebody wants to sell electronics. So there are so many businesses trying to sell so many things to the Indian consumer. So it is obvious that during Diwali and other festive seasons, the cost of advertising will go high because the demand of advertisers wanting to advertise increases and the ad space supply may go down. So seasonality plays a big role in affecting the cost per click. We talked about ad optimization. If your ad is optimized, it has a good score, it is healthy, the user clicks on it, they visit the website, they interact with the website, then these businesses will treat that, okay, the ad is relevant and it is not spam. And in such cases, businesses will reduce your CPC so that more and more people can reach it. So, yeah, these are overall the factors that affect CPC, but I will tell this to you again, it is usually a combination of all these factors. So it is really difficult to identify the cost per click, and it is an ever changing trend. Okay. Now we've talked about the factors that affect CPC. Now let's talk about the advantages of measuring CPC. So here I have a screenshot from my Google Ad Console. And if I look at it, it says anniversary gift ideas. My average CPC is 12 rupees. Okay. Best marriage gift, my CPC is 12.86 rupees. My average here is 11 rupees. Anniversary gift for husband, my CPC is 10.51 rupees. But my CTR, click through ratio is high. If you do not know what CTR is, don't worry, I'll make another video about it. But click through ratio is high in this case. So basically, looking at all these stats, I will have an idea of what is the cost that I'm spending and I'll be able to monitor it. And if needed, I can use these data points to make decisions. So let's take another example for that matter. This is my Quora ad Quora ad platform. So here, if I look, there are 5 campaigns that I've been running. Here, my cost per click is 0.11 rupees. So I've spent $50 in total, out of which I've gotten itna impression, itna clicks. But I have spent the most in this case, and maybe I have spent the most in this case because my cost per click was just $0.01. And if I look at it, this one I am paying 11 times, and my CTR is also not that good, right? Or it could be that since my CTR is not that good, my cost per click is high. So CTR, CPC, and there are a lot of these other things that are codependent on each other. But ultimately, if I look at CPC and I measure these metrics, it will allow me to make decisions which are better for my business. So these are two straight advantages. Improved ad targeting. So guys, based on all this data and this data that I showed you, I can target my campaigns in a much more better manner. So, for example, suppose I'm running two campaigns, A and B. In the A campaign, my CPC is suppose 3 rupees, and my CPC here is suppose 8 rupees. I know that my suppose ROAS is 4 here, and my ROAS is 3 here. In that case, I can observe that A is better than B, so I may shut down B, or I may want to optimize it so that the costs become better for me. So improving your ad targeting, you get a lot of data based on CPC, and you can use all of that to improve your ads. Real-time performance tracking. So now that I'm talking about it, I think all these four advantages are very interrelated. I should not have made four different boxes, but I hope you get my point. For a business, it is very important to measure CPC. It's just like you measuring your heartbeat. So your heartbeat may not give you just any signal, but it's a good metric to measure. It's a biomarker, right? So similarly, when we look at ads or the world of advertising in the digital world, CPC is a marker. Measuring that, comparing it with other factors can give you an idea of what is wrong, what is right, what is working well, what should we do better, all of these things. So yeah, measuring cost per click, I think, is really, really important. Now, can CPC, cost per click, be considered as an absolute source of truth? I think this is the last part of the video. And for that, what we'll do is we'll take an example, okay? So let's imagine a company X that sells a product for 1000 rupees. So in both these cases, we are going to keep everything the same. So the ad platform here, suppose is Google, here also is Google. So everything is same except for two things. One thing, the number of ad clicks. So in this case, the total amount of money spent here is 1 lakh rupees and my number of ad clicks is 50,000. So my cost per click would be 1 lakh by 50,000, which equals to 2. So my CPC here is 2 rupees. In this case, my CPC would be 1 lakh rupees by 10,000. And if I cancel it out, my CPC here is 10 rupees. Now, guys, if common sense is put to use, and I ask you this question that, guys, which is better? Is campaign A better or campaign B better? In most cases, you will choose campaign B. But hold on, I will give you another detail, and now you need to tell me if campaign A is better and campaign B is better. Okay. In this case, the number of customers that we got was just suppose 5. But in this case, the number of customers that we got was 20. Okay. So my customer acquisition cost is 1 lakh rupees by 5, which equals to 20,000 rupees. And in this case, my customer acquisition cost would be 20, which is equals to 5,000 rupees. In both these cases, the CAC, customer acquisition cost, is much, much higher than the selling price. So I think both of these don't make sense. But the point I'm trying to make here is measuring CAC, measuring CPC, cost per click, without having to measure other things like return on advertising spend or the customer acquisition cost or the average value per order. Without measuring all of these, you cannot really take and be like, hey, bro, my CPC, it's very low. It's like just 1 rupees per click. Maybe an ad campaign with a CPC 10 times of what your campaign is may be performing a lot better because that campaign may be delivering customers while your campaign is just getting clicks and nothing else. So, to conclude everything, all I can tell you is cost per click is a way to measure, but this measurement needs to be relative. You may want to measure things like click through rate, customer acquisition cost, return on advertising spend. You may also want to check average order value. At later stages, you may also want to see how many people are going for refunds. All of these factors combined together will give you an insight of how healthy your marketing and business campaigns are. And CPC is just a small, tiny part of that. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much done. I think I have rushed through the video while making this, but again, this is, I think, the first time I'm attempting to make a video like this. And if I am motivated enough, I'll continue making videos like this. I hope you had a nice time watching this. And if you did, if you watched it till so far, then I request you to write down something that you felt. If you have any suggestions for improvement, I would love to hear what you have to say. Put them down in the chats, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So, guys, thanks again for listening. And Shashank is taking his hand and patting himself on the back because he's back trying to make YouTube videos and express himself. So, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.